What's up guys, Todd Kelly, Shoe Shop Outdoors. It's the end of November and my fly fishing season's coming to an end here. And this is when I like to do a servicing on all my reels and get them ready for next year. Doing a service on these Islander LX series fly reels is pretty easy to do. No real tools required other than a little pin, toothpick needle to lift out a rubber O-ring, and that's about it. Lots of paper towel for cleaning them out, get all the grease and oil out. And Islander has their little maintenance kits here that have some cleaning swabs and the proper oil and grease to service the reels. It's a good idea to do this at least once a year. It's going to make the reels perform as they did when they were brand new from the factory, and it's also going to make them last a lot longer. So we'll dig into one of these reels here and show you how it's done. So if your reels are really dirty, salt stained, or anything like that, it's a good idea to wash them off with warm soap and water first before doing that. I did that last night. They've dried off, so we'll take it apart. First, on the back of the reels, we'll just unscrew the drag knob here. Take that off, set it aside, and the reel comes apart. Push out the center pin. And the first thing we want to do is clean off all the old grease and oil. Be gentle around these springs. Make sure you don't damage anything. You can just slide them over to get underneath them. On the little pin here, clean that off. And we'll remove the O-ring here. So we remove the rubber O-ring here. You want to be careful not to tear it. And we can remove the cork. And we want to clean everything out once again. So the back of the reel is all clean here now. And we'll clean out all the old grease out of the teeth on the drag. And we'll find a clean piece of our paper towel here and wipe off the cork. We don't want any grease on the cork, just oil. And we'll give that all a wipe. Clean out the back side here. Clean out inside the bearing. And that's pretty much it for getting the reel clean. So now that our reel is all clean, it's time to re-grease and oil everything and get this reel back together. So first off, at the base of the shaft here, a nice layer of grease around. And just a little bit up one side of the shaft that's going to get pushed down when we put the drag back on. We have our drag here upside down, Just along the bearing here, just a light layer of grease. And a little bit on the inside. We can put this back on our shaft. Our little toggle here, this determines the direction of retrieve of the reel. And when you're looking at the reel like this, if it's off to the right, that means a right-hand retrieve. And if it's off to the left, that's a left-hand retrieve. The easiest way to set this is as you lower the cork drag, just spin it the direction you want it and push it down until it's set on the bottom. We'll grab our oil, the little toggle here, and the springs, just a tiny drop on top of the screw as well, just a tiny little bit. Let that seep underneath the screw for the toggle. Spin that around, let that oil work in, and we'll just dab off any excess. We don't want a whole bunch. Next, along the teeth of the drag is a light layer of grease. Just along the bottom edge where the toggle engages with these teeth. Put some on, spin it a little bit more until you have a coating around the entire circumference of the teeth. And spin that around. We'll get rid of any excess grease here. You do want a decent amount of grease on that toggle on the wheels where it engages. That looks pretty good. Next, our drag surface, the cork here, just a little bit of oil. We don't want any grease on this. Light coating of oil, spread the oil out with your fingers. We want to prevent that cork from drying out. Next, we'll grab our little rubber O-ring. We'll get this back on. You want to make sure that you don't tear this. Slide that back on. Slide it down all the way to the bottom. A little bit more grease here along the shaft. Just a stripe up each side's good. Set that aside. Next, we'll grab our spool and a little bit of grease along that bearing. A little bit on the inside, not a whole bunch. This dimpled area is the drag surface. That's what the cork drag rubs against. You want to keep that free of any grease. The oil from the cork will make that a little bit oily over time, but no grease. The little clicker here, just on either side, a little dab of oil. Work it back and forth so the oil works its way underneath it. And we'll just dab away any excess. You don't need a whole bunch. And that's good for the spool. We can grab our backer here, drop our spool onto it. On this side of the bearing, a little bit of grease again. We'll grab our pin and we'll drop our pin in, and our pin is keyed. So when you lower it down, it's going to stick up above, and the easiest way to get this set into the keyed section, just a little pressure with your finger, spin the spool around, slowly until it drops in. There we go. So now it's flush with the surface here. Wipe that clean. On the back side of the spool, there's a little rubber O-ring right here. That seals out any dirt and debris from getting in the drag knob. Just a little bit of grease along the edge. Our drag knob has a little washer. You want to make sure that's in there. A tiny little bit of grease on the inside here. That'll lube up the threads. And we just reinstall our drag knob, spin that on. Tighten it down, back it up. Well, there you go. Nice, simple, fast procedure to do a maintenance on these LX series of fly reels. And if you do this annually, they're going to perform better for you and they're going to last a long time. If you're looking for any information on servicing the MR3 series of mooching reels, I have a video on that. I'll put a link up here so you can go check out that video. Please hit the thumbs up. That really helps the channel grow. If you're into more fishing, hunting, and gear review content, please subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, throw those on down below because I'm always checking out the comments section. Anyways, thanks for watching.